Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Jers here. So today we're here with RagnarosPower, who is a admin on Panda Hut and the creator of role playing on Unturned.
You're acting like I'm some fucking huge ass guy. Anyway, go ahead.
You are a huge ass guy. But yeah, so Ragnars, you had the first RP server on
Well,
Unturned,
in
correct?
2.2.5, yeah. And 3.0, as when because what I did is I made a server in 2.2.5, which was RP. Used to be called Ragnar, but Ragnar RP, but that didn't go so well. So I shut down the server within a month or so. Because yeah, back in 2.0.5, the coding wasn't like Rocket and stuff wasn't as good as it is now. So I didn't really have much at hand that I could use towards making a good RP server or bringing RP into Unturned. So then I just
So before
so,
before that server, there was no RP,
no, as
correct?
far because the thing that all of the server owners think whenever they make a server, this could go for any player. So whenever you make a server, the first thing that comes to your head is how can I make my server stand out to other servers? So what I did is, I thought there was so many other games the RP came from. So it was like why don't I try to bring RP into Unturned, see how that would work out. At first, it was just more of a I was of course everybody always says more of a friends thing, and actually was more. I was just me and a couple of friends just wanted to fuck around. Um, but
Gotcha.
I didn't work out too much, and then after a month I just stopped it, and then I stopped playing 2.2.5 because it was impossible to have a server on because hackers came in, and then hackers would have the ability to shut down servers like using one click, and then it was just AIDS. So 2.2.5 was too bad, so
Oh,
then I
man.
stopped playing on 2.5, and I heard 3.0 came up. So I went on 3.0, and the first thing I tried to look for is, RP servers. I Googled it, and I did all this stuff, but nothing came out. So I was like, oh, I suppose nobody, actually tried to do it. So that's when I started my new RP server on 3.0, which went quite good. I mean, it was the most populated RP server, and because, it was the only RP server at the time, and the entire UK as well, obviously. And they always had 24 out of 24. So it was really popular. But yeah,
Really?
all we had at the time is obviously I was the only owner of it, and I wasn't too good with plugins at the time. So all I had was just like dev messages and shit. But it worked well because we had admins that were taking care of it. It didn't go too bad. So it was going good. Like people started enjoying it. Some people wouldn't enjoy it as much as others because there's always this one person that has to ruin everything. So um
And and so you wrote all your own
no,
plugins at that time?
at the time I didn't even know
No.
what fucking how Rocket even works. Like I wasn't
Ah,
too fond of it. I didn't. It wasn't too good at the time, as I said. It was like plugin wise, it was quite shitty. It was more of a manual thing. But we had, the most useful thing was dev messages. At the time, I had dev messages, which was the most useful thing I've ever had in my life. Because you know how hard it was before when I had to just wait for a player to just say in the chat like a KOS. It would be the worst. It would be the worst. I would just stand there, not knowing what the fuck is going on. Well, I would be able to teleport around and stuff, but usually I wouldn't know when somebody would die. But after death messages came in, I was like, fuck yes.
so who programmed that one for you, or did
No,
it
death
just come
messages
out
was a
somewhere
public
else?
plugin on the Rocket website. So, it was public to
So
everyone.
when did you actually start programming your
No,
own
that's
plugins?
I don't program my own plugins. That's what Mushi is for.
Oh,
No,
you don't.
I don't stand there doing. Mushi's
Ah.
the programmer. I just I just deal with making sure we have the right plugins on all the servers. But yeah,
So how did you end up moving your servers over to Panda Hut and and starting up
well,
with Mushi?
it all happened in December 2015, was it? Or 15, yeah. So the first thing that an RP server owner has a problem with is they get bored as fuck. So what I would do is I would just hop on our PvP servers. So I would just have some fun of killing some players instead of always RPing. So the server I would always go to would be Panda Hut because I really enjoyed it. So I went on Panda Hut, and at the time there was a fuck ton of hackers, fly hackers, all this kind of shit. It was a lot of crazy stuff. So I applied to be a moderator on the Panda service just because I wanted to ban those guys when they were hacking, so I could just deal and just continue PvPing without being disturbed by them. So I applied to be as a moderator,
Gotcha.
and obviously Mushi knew of me at the time because he assisted me in setting up a MySQL database. That's how bad I was at the time. I didn't even know how to set up a MySQL database. So Mushi came and came on team viewer with me one time, and he helped me out. And obviously he knew that I owned an RP server at the time, and that it was pretty much the only concept of it. And after I made that RP server, obviously after he's helped me, there was more RP servers coming out. It was only like 1 or 2, as far as I was aware. It was only around 1 or 2 more RP servers that came out after I had my RP server, and then it started slowly getting a bit, known. But then, and then some people, because they knew me from the server, and some other people from Panda Hut itself requested an RP server to be on Panda Hut. Because there was this post that Miku made once, which was the co-owner of Panda Hut. She wanted to see what people would like to see, what other service people would want, and some people were requesting RP, and once a person requested RP, more people would request it because they've never seen it, so they wanted it.
Gotcha.
So when she contacted me,
because it truly seems like a concept that wouldn't work, just because there would just be like massive amounts of KOS and never enough staff. But somehow you guys have made it work.
Yeah, and how it worked is just plug-in assistance. That was all of it pretty much. And once people were requesting it, Moshi contacted me one day, and then Moshi being the owner of Panda, and he asked me if because they wanted to make an RP server, although at the time Miku, which was governor, and Moshi, they want to make one because they knew of how hard it was to set one up, and they had no idea how to start doing it and everything. So Moshi contacted me, and he told me if I want to merge my server towards Panda Hut server, and he said it'll be all the same. I would still own that server. Like I would, well, all my private stuff that I wouldn't go into. So I took some days to think. Well, at the time I barely thought of it. I gave a couple of hours, and I was just like, yeah, sure. I mean, why not? I mean, in the end, I wasn't thinking of that server going anywhere. I mean, it was really popular, but at the time I was just thinking of shutting it down later on because I saw some RP servers coming out, so I was like, oh, there's no reason for me to continue hosting this because RP is starting to slowly get acknowledged on Unturned.
So you just wanted servers to play on, pretty much. You just wanted RP servers.
Well, I just wanted it to be a thing. I never wanted to be creator of it or anything. I didn't care about that. So when I got Mushi messaging me saying he wants to merge with me, I knew that Panda Hut. Well, Mushi's really fucking good with his plugins. So I was like, doing this means one, and Panda Hut was really popular. So I knew that doing that would make RP way more acknowledgeable on Unturned. So it would help.
Gotcha.
A lot of people started finding out, and that's what happened when we first started up. Though, we took a couple of weeks to work on it and do a lot of new stuff. Obviously, we didn't want to just release it how it was, so we worked on creating roles like bandits, all this stuff, and
so he did all the programming of like the slash roles and choosing the role and getting the kits.
That was the main plugin that was related to RP. Because at the time when we started up, we were like. Because what we used to do is I would just tell people to change their name into whatever role they want to be. So they would just leave the server. They would change the name to like Bandit, RagnarosPower, or something like that, and then they would play as it. That's what would used to happen. So nice. What Mushi did is he took a lot of time into programming a plugin that would do that instead. So a plugin that would just simply change a person from another permission to another permission. So in the end, he released it. So he released the roles plugin, which people had the ability to easily come in the server, choose a role. Obviously, they wouldn't be cuffed at the time and everything. They would just come in and they would just choose a role. Later on, we improved it by making them get cuffed instantly when they join, so they don't start mass KOSing, or
so they have to choose a role
whenever
first.
They walk. The chat keeps spamming, telling them to choose a role. And when he made that, obviously we had the ability to give roles custom kits. So like when you choose a role, you'd be able to have the permissions to choose a kit for that role, and all this stuff. What other things did we? And we just added every single plugin that could help out in RP that exists on Panda right now, and we just released more plugins more roles out, a lot of more roles because people kept suggesting roles. We removed a lot of roles, like we had a hobo role. It didn't really work out. At the time, everyone was like, "Yo, can we have a hobo role? I don't have money. I want to stay on the streets." I was like, "I'll give you a hobo role." Made that.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was funny because we have like people
What
just
about-
sitting on the side of the some people just sitting on the side of the street saying, "Can I have some money, please, sir?"
Begging.
And then you just have some people just eventually give them like 10 bamboo or something like that.
But it just got really annoying, I guess.
Well,
Huh?
it got inactive at a point because people started like realizing they can just be a bandit and then go steal someone's shit and then run away. So, they realized, oh, I could probably make more money by just, robbing this guy. So,
Dude, you should put it back in, man. That's a funny role. I'll play it. And man, what happened to Lawyer? I never even got to play it.
Because the Lawyer, we never had an initial plan of. We just released it just because people wanted it. So there was really no use to it. It was just a name with no purpose behind it. So but obviously we were thinking of adding the judge role, which would then affect lawyers in some sort of way. So we could probably bring it back later.
So RCMP would actually take criminals to court. That'd be kind of cool. Time consuming, but cool.
So obviously we released the roles plugin. We set up moderators on the server. Obviously at first when we started up the server, which was Panda Hut 10, that was fucking chaos for the 2/3 weeks. It was horrible because Panda Hut was fully about PvP people. So everyone on Panda Hut, there was only PvP servers. So the first thing they saw is, new server. Going in, kill everyone. Whoa, sick.
And they probably didn't even realize that they weren't supposed to be doing that.
And we didn't have anything like /rules or anything. We just have to tell them, go to www.pandahut.net/RP. Or we didn't even have a rules page at the time for RP service. It was just a topic on the forums because, it didn't get popular enough for us to even bother to make a new website that would show you the rules. So, it was at first we started as a whitelisted server because we thought, it might be better, but it was because the server just got up and it wasn't popular. So
you couldn't populate it if it was whitelisted.
So then we made it public, and then it was popular all the goddamn time. And then we make like custom donation perks for the RP servers and all this stuff.
Were you nervous about doing like donator roles?
Yeah. because I knew that in order for me to make sure that my server still remains on Panda Hut, I would have to make sure that server
you have to monetize it
somehow
in some way.
The money to remain on the server, because if you can't pay the server, then no. So but I also didn't want to make it pay to win. That's why I said, I don't want them to get as much money, because when you donate for their PvP service, you get way more money than you do on their RP service. That's the first thing I requested. I said, I don't want people to get too much money on the RP service, because the point of RP service is trying to get your way to the top and not donating to the top. So,
but it seems like for MVP Plus, you already just get a huge amount of money.
Well, it's 350K
like you start out with...
if you're not MVP Plus. It's not too much if you think of it, because there's vehicles that could cost up to 10K. So you could get like 35 vehicles, and there goes all your money. And it's
true. Until they bring back another duplication.
Of course. But yeah, so we set up the SWAT. Hitman was a really popular thing, and then the server people started making videos on it, like NTAC, which really helped the server a lot. Eventually I got to the point where it was just so popular, so we released another RP server, which was #13.
Which is actually seems like it's more populated than... Oh wait, no. 13. Yeah, 10 is more populated than 13.
Yeah, because it was the first RP server that came out. And the map, really. The map is pretty much the main reason to why people go on 10. Because, Washington is the best map to RP on, pretty much.
You think so?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What's wrong with PEI?
You saw the cloud. Everyone goes to Alberton and they make bases around there, and it's just AIDS, because then you just lag too much. So, yeah. But yeah, pretty much going a bit back, because we're going too forward here. We released the roles. It started getting more popular to the point where Panda Hut was pretty much known just for RP. And then after it got too big, obviously, people realized, I gotta follow suit. So people started making, recreating the plugins, the roles plugin we had, and then someone obviously started selling it. So then it got popular. Everyone started buying it.
Were you guys tempted to sell it?
No, not at all. We didn't have any money issues. We didn't want to sell it at all. It was a custom thing that we did. We didn't want to slow it. But obviously, as time went, it's easy for a coder to just easily replicate one of our plugins. So that happened. Everyone started
Yeah.
replicating it, and then everyone just started making their own RP servers. And now we know RP is really big, which is what I always aimed for. So I didn't
That's
actually
awesome.
realize the RP was actually a thing until like a couple of weeks ago. I just stood for a second. I was like, wait, there's so many goddamn RP servers, because I went on the internet list. I typed in RP. There were so many. I was like, yo, no, I never realized I actually reached my goal. So I did get to the point where everyone started making RP servers, which is really sick. It sucks that you don't.
Well, and most of them suck.
That's what I was I mean, it sucks that some of them don't really know exactly how to handle it, because it's understandable. I don't hate them for it, because handling RP servers is not the easiest thing. But and especially when you have some people that intentionally want to ruin it, even though I understand for some people they might be like, "Oh, RP, that's cringe as fuck." I mean, why would you want to bother RPing? Why don't you just go out, have a life? Yeah, but the point is that you wanna. The reason why people go on Unturned is because they want to have fun, and having different game modes in a game is what makes the game fun. So it was literally just made for those that literally just want to change how they play Unturned, because people, when they go on Unturned, they usually just join a PvP server, start killing everyone. But no one actually thinks of, wait, I could go on this server, I could be a bandit, I could be a doctor, I could help people out, I could be a police officer and stop bandits from robbing. There's like a whole different concept of the game, and it's quite cool. And then after RP came out, it was starting to get more popular. Nelson also realized it was getting more popular, and he added in a lot of stuff that helped us, like handcuffs for police officers. Now he added blindfolds, which is really helpful for kidnappers, because what people do now is whenever they kidnap someone, they just make them wear blindfold. It's fucking hilarious. And yeah, it's just so yeah, it pretty much got to the point where everybody knows about it now, which is really cool. So I'm really glad that it got popular. So now we just gotta find another game mode to make popular. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say.
But I mean, did you watch my early RP videos, like the first one and the second one?
On the Panda Hut service. I believe so, yeah.
Like at that point in time, like I wasn't a believer in RP. I thought RP was stupid.
Yeah.
I promised never to play it. I got on the server pretty much just to fuck shit up. Just to like KOS, just to break rules, just to dick around. And then after like the second episode, you see me telling Mr. Breest, I'm like, actually, let's just not get banned from the server. Let's just actually play it. And then once we actually started getting into it, it was a good time.
Yeah,
but
it's still
it definitely seems stupid at first.
It does. Exactly. That's because even myself, I'm like, if I just try to be in someone else's skin, I realize that I see RP server, how would that work in Unturned? There's people who just want to kill and stuff, and that is the case. We have probably hundreds of bans every day on our servers. Yeah,
wow,
it does reach the 100 point every day, because there's people that just come on, and half of them don't know what they're doing, which we explained to them before banning, and then half of them just do it just because they think it's a stupid concept, which is understandable. But people just think that because they don't actually try to realize, how would it actually be if I actually chose a role and actually try to do it as they're telling me to do it, and see if I actually enjoy it. And a lot of people do enjoy it. Some don't, which is understandable. But instead of being, oh my fucking god, I have a Hoover in my background. Perfect.
Is that your parrot?
Oh, yes. Wait, can you hear that really fucking
all right,
is that
okay? It's not super loud. This video is getting pretty long though. We should probably wrap it up anyway. Thank you. What was that?
Nothing. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much how it worked out. So yeah, in the end, it got to where I wanted it to be. RP is really popular now. It just needs to have some people that gotta, stay in there and think for a bit. I shouldn't go around and fuck on the server. I should actually just try to see how it works instead of just trying to go on KOS, because usually they just get banned instantly. But
yeah, like once they give it a chance. I was really crafty about how I did mine. I would use like a lot of traps and stuff like that.
There is a lot of ways to try to KOS without getting caught, but eventually it'll get caught. And if we find people that just go ahead and try to be smart about KOSing, they usually just get permanently banned. So, but
yeah. And I was lucky that I didn't get permanently banned before I started enjoying it, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ragnaros, thank you so much
It's all good. Thank you.
for telling this story to us. I appreciate
Alright,
that. Yeah, and if you guys like this type of, or this video type where I interview somebody from the community that did something
nobody
intriguing,
likes me.
what?
Oh, joke. Go
Then yeah, then like this video, comment that you liked it. But yeah, that is the probably Ragnaros is pretty terrible. I don't blame you guys if you dislike just because he's here. But yeah, that's the origin of RP. In case you were ever wondering.
Oh, yeah. A really intriguing story.
Hey, it was
No,
pretty
it is,
interesting. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Have a good one, guys.